To continue, The Egyptian Heaven and Hell by E.A. Wallis Budge. And even the preface is over 100 years old, so. Volume 2 is the short form of the book Maatf-The and the Book of Gates. We're in Chapter 8, The Gate of Suttam Mayurt Yef. And the two lines of text which is the sixth division of the Duat out of 12, continued. And the two lines of text which refer to his admission of Ra, which he compared to Utu, Chamush, Kamish, Shamash, many other. And it reads, "He who is over this door openeth to Ra. Sethsa saith to Suthamayurthyef. Open thy gate to Ra, unfold thy doors to day, that he may send light into the thick darkness, that he may radiate and may make his radiance illuminate the hidden habitation. This door is shut after the great entity hath passed through it, and there is lamentation to those who are in this gateway when they hear this door close upon them." And the scenes which illustrate the sixth division of the Duat cannot be obtained in a complete state from the sarcophagus of Seti I, and recourse must therefore be had to other documents. In the following pages, however, the fragments of the text and scenes from the sarcophagus are first given, and they are followed by the complete texts that are found in the tomb of Ramses VI, as published by Mansour E. Lefebvre in the third volume of Memories of the French Archaeological Mission at Cairo. The fragmentary text and scenes from the sarcophagus of Seti I may thus be described. 1. Two of the four entities of the Duat, whose duty it is to tow along the boat of the sun through this division. And think of it in terms of, if you look at the Goetia, the Pa-moon is a solar entity with two leading the charge, and there's other things of a sun demon being led by four. And we have, the serpent, Suthamayurthyef. Remember that serpent that in the judgment hall, the serpent was not there and Osiris is there? We're back to referring to the serpent again. 2. Tum, in the form of an aged man with bent shoulders and leaning on a staff. 3. The jackal-headed standard called Ra. Rag is, I guess, the jackal-headed standard, to which are tied two enemies, which probably represent the damned. The two chats, the 63, 64th, 63, 64th, each faced a different way, kind of faced inwards like a human face in a way, which appears to be keeping watch on the enemies. 5. The jackal-headed standard called Tum, with two enemies tied to it. 6. A mummified form projecting elbows called Afat. Oh, I said Afat. No, wrong name. Afat. Fought, not Afat. Afat. Yeah. 7. The jackal-headed standard called Kspr, with two enemies tied to it. Beetle. Kspr. Scarab beetle, of course. A mummified form with projecting elbows called Dayar. Mod. The jackal-headed standard called Shu, with 2 enemies tied to it. A mummified form with projecting elbows called Sund. Sund. SND. Sund. The jackal-headed standard called Sob, with 2 enemies tied to it. 12. A mummified form with projecting elbows called Aka Saw. And the jackal-headed standard called Sar, Yosir, Osiris. A mummified form with projecting elbows called Khur. Yeah, it's Khur. That little triangle, that pentagon with in the middle. The jackal-headed standard called Haru. And 16, an entity holding a scepter called Shuf Her. Without the little thing, it's not hooray, it's just her. And there's a text that refers to them. And there's names supplied, and Champollion's text supplies some names. Vrae, Sob. Okay, basically what we've seen here before. And fragment of the 6th division of the Duat from the cover of Seti I. And look at what's going on there. Consider it what it means to you. And fragments of the 6th division from the cover of the sarcophagus of Seti I. And look at what's going on there, what's being said. This great entity is towed along by demons in the Duat, and who tow Ra along say rise up. God, verily get thee forth to the standards of Seb. Sob, yes. And the standard of Sob, Tem saith unto the standards, keep ward over the enemies, and bind ye fast those who shall be smitten, O ye entities who are behind the standards, and who are in the following of Sob. I give ye power to bind fast the enemies, and to keep ward over the wicked. Let them not go forth from under your hands. Let them not slip through your fingers, O enemies. Ye are reckoned for slaughter according to the decree which to you by him that with his body and created the Duat by his members, he hath passed the decree for you to be punished, and he taketh count of you and what ye do. The upper register is much mutilated. On the cover of the sarcophagus of Seti I, on it we see 5 upright male figures, each who holds a large loaf of bread with both hands on his head. When the scene was complete, these figures were 12 in number. As we learn from the variants published by Champollion, they are called Hatup Te U Kspur Ru. 6 male upright figures, each who holds the father of Maat, truth, with both hands on his head. When the scene was complete, these figures were 12 in number, and they are called Autu U Kuru Tuat. Shoe. Okay. Let me try to say that quicker. Autu. Tamamu. Karu. Maat. Oh, Maat. Okay. The text which remains is, it reads, and the fragment of the cover from the British Museum, look at those wings. There's the idea of the energy body. So we become aware of our energy body, but there are also entities with us. These are they who have offered up incense to the demons and whose devils have been washed. Maat, they have been reckoned up and they are Maat in the presence of the great demon who in the presence of the great entity who destroyeth iniquities. Yasir, Osiris, saith unto them, ye are Maat of Maat. Be at peace, ye have done, O ye who are in the forms of those who are in my following and who dwell in the house of him whose souls are holy. Live ye on what ye live there, and have the mastery over the cool waters which are in your lake. A few years ago, sometime in the 1800s, when this was published in 1905, so a few years ago, I purchased from a native at Luxor a fragment of the cover of the sarcophagus of Seti I, and this is now in the British Museum as number 29,948, and it gives the following 3 male figures, each of which holds the loaf of bread on his head. The following fragmentary text says, but let's look at that right there. What does it say? What does it mean beyond what it says? Their bread and cakes are ordered for them by their entities. Their cow are in their hands, and they enter into the abodes of the pylon which destroyeth its entities. The god Sar, well, considered as a god, Osiris, saith unto them, yes, here's the usual form. The entity Sar saith unto them, your bread shall be to you from that which cometh forth from your mouths, O you Hatapta Kthbru. In the lower register we have 5 male figures who are accompanied by tending very large ears of corn. When the scene was complete with these figures were 12 in number, and they were called those who work about the plants of grain in the fields of the Tuat. So you have Ur, Ri, U, Kam, To, Ma, Yafu, Mahan. Wait. Oh, I forget what that double knot thing is called, and what that's called, and Maatf-The. I'm missing something. It has this over a box and these little things. A man holding a sickle, and he's one of the 7 reapers. Ur Katab is that how you say reaper? Of which this section of the scene originally consisted, and the text which refers to those who tend to the grain reads, and there's a passage in brackets from Champollion Notices number 2, page 503. And here goes. They perform the works in connection with the grain, and they embrace the entity of wheat, Nepre, which is eaten. Their grain becomes glorious in the land through the light of Ra, when he appeareth and send forth heat, and maketh his way by them. The Lord of joy of heart saith unto them, Let your grain be glorious, and let the young shoots of your grain germinate, and let your offerings be for Ra. There Ra let Nippur germinate, and let Osiris be the source of food of the entities in the Duat. Yimante. Behold, in the fields of the Duat they gather together their grain, and they say unto Ra, Let the fields of the Duat become green with young plants. May Ra shine upon the members of Sar. When thou dost shine, the young plants come into being, O great entity, thou creator of the grain. Alleged. Their offerings of food are grain, and their drink offerings of Sir, and their libations are made with cool water. Offerings are made unto them on the earth of the grain of the fields of the Duat. And words in the brackets are supplied from Champollion Notices number 2, page 503. Sorry, I'm so tired, but compare this not only to older planting methodology and subsequent, including the Christian becoming the wheat, the body of, various Mithric sects showed themselves by that. And of the reapers it is said, These are they who have their scythes, and they reap the grain in their fields. Ra saith unto them, Take ye your scythes, and reap up your grain, for it is granted to you your habitations, and join yourselves to me in the circle of the hidden forms. Hail to you, O ye reapers! Their food is of bread, and their drink is of Sir, and their libations are made with cool water. Offerings are made in them upon the earth, as being those who hold scythes in the fields of the Duat. The text which describes the middle register, the 6th edition, it appears in the tomb of Ramses VI, and it reads, but remember the spiritual gateways of the water and the earth combined here. And when it's food and drink, it symbolizes our blood and our flesh. So we become as one in purpose and whatnot. But anyways, this great entity is being towed along by the entities of the Duat. Those who tow Ra along say, Be exalted, O Yitan disc, who are at the head of the light. The hen look you with the abodes of the Duat. Your eyes are to you, O entities. Observe ye Ra, the powers in Yakart. This great entity decreeth your destinies. This great entity cometh forth by the standards of Sab, which reckoneth unto the enemies after weighing the words in Yementet. Behold, Sa saith unto this entity who cometh forth to the standards of Sab, I'll say that again. Behold, Sa saith unto this entity when he cometh to the standards of Sab, at the head of Ra, the great entity, verily get thee forth to the standards of Sab. Tem saith unto the standards, Keep ward over the enemies, and ye bind fast those who are to be smitten. O ye entities who are in the following of the standards, and who are in the following of Sab, I give you power to bind fast the enemies and to keep ward over the wicked. Let them not come forth under your hands, and let them not slip through your fingers. O ye enemies, ye are doomed to slaughter according to the decree of Ra concerning you. His person is the body of Yakart, and he hath created the Duat of his framework. He hath issued the decree for you to be put into the restraint, and he hath ordered your doom, which shall be wrought upon you in the great hall of Ra. The entities weep and lament, and he setteth the entities towards you, and the enemies of those who are to be smitten. The Duat are condemned to those standards. And remember all this conservative Christian and even biblical talk about end Zions and Zion, and this is what's going on here. but the demiurge sort of seen through the body, not a real. We have the aspect, if it's not a real creator, that we're seeing, through the illusion that has been placed upon it. So the real Duat, let's figure out what the real Duat is, the Janut, without, and the upper register are 12 entities, each of whom stands upright and has the feather of Ma'at on his head. And the 12 entities, each of which stands upright and has a large loaf on his head, these entities are described as Maatf-The. Oh, Maatf-The. T is that, almost like a, Maatf-U, Karu, Ma'ashut, Maatf, entities of truth, bearing truth, and the Hatup, Tupte-U, entities bearing provisions. So Kuru and Awut-U. Awu-Tu. So Awu-Tu and Kuru are some sort of provisions. But there's two sorts of things going on, and this is part of why feel like I need to redo Budge a little bit, his dictionary, and arrange things to, at the very least, to pronounce things. But I'm going to try to bring out some more meaning. Offerings of incense to their entities by libations of cold water to their doubles and fillings of the mouth by his sustenance, after which the offerings of drink and their offerings of bread come forth to them by their entity, forth to them their entities and their doubles, their hands are to them, and they go to their cakes through the pylon and to its entities. Sar saith unto them, your bread is to you according to your utterances, and the peace cakes of Kthper and loaves of bread, eat, the scarab beetle, and loaves of bread, ye shall have mastery over your legs, ye shall have satisfaction in your hearts, and your entities shall present unto you your Knfu cakes unto your doubles, and their provisions which consist of bread, and their drink which shall be of Sir ale, and their libations shall be of cool water, and their offerings shall be made unto them upon earth as entities of offerings in Yementet, for they have done what was right whilst they were upon earth, and they have fought on behalf of their entity, and they shall be called to the enjoyment of the land of the house of life with Maat, truth. That which is theirs by right shall be allotted to them in the presence of the great God, who doeth away iniquity. Then shall Yusur, Osiris, say unto them, Maat be to you, truth to you. O ye Maat entities, and peace be unto you, Sharma. I'm not sure if that's the phrase used here, but by reason of which you have done in following after me, O ye dwellers in the house, the soul of which is holy, ye shall live your life upon that whereupon those who live there feed, and ye shall have dominion over the cool waters of your land. I have decreed for you that ye shall have your being in all of it with Maat and without sin. Sin is an ancient Egyptian word meaning mistake or defect. Their bread shall be Maat cakes, their drink shall be of wine, and their libation shall be of cool water, and there shall be offered unto them upon the earth the offerings which must be made from their land. And in the lower register, the figures of 12 men, in each whom stands a monster ear of corn, or a tree under the superintendence of an entity which leans on a staff, and a group of reapers, each holding a sickle. The text is mutilated in places, but it reads, They perform their work in connection with the grain, and they embrace the divine grain, the spiritualized grain. And the spirits feed upon their grain in the land of the entity of light. Khu. Or Xu? Is it X? Xu, yeah. Who cometh forth and passeth by them, and Maatf-The, the Lord of joy of heart, or one proclaiming to be such, saith unto them, let your grain be glorious, and let your ears of wheat germinate, and let your offerings be for Ra. Your Khnfu cakes are in the Duat, your offerings are to you, the offerings which are yours by Maat are decreed for you, herbs among you, Sar, germinate, and they say unto Ra, let the plants spring up in the fields of the Duat, and let Ra shine upon the members of Sar. When thou dost shine, the young plants come into being, O great entity, thou creator of the egg. You know, Sar. Their food offerings are of grain, their drink is of just their ale, and their libations are made with cool water. Offerings are made unto them upon the earth of the grain from the fields of the Duat. Of the reapers it is said, these are they who have their sickles and who reap the grain in their field. Ra saith unto them, take ye your sickles and reap your grain, for it is granted unto you your habitations, and to join yourselves with the circle of the hidden forms. Hail to you, O ye reapers! Their food is of bread cakes, and their drink is of stir ale, and their libations are made with cool water. Offerings are made unto them upon earth, as being those who reap the grain in the fields of the Duat. And wouldn't it be for a fake creator to claim all these titles? Oh, I am the provider of this, I am the Lord of this, I created this. Perhaps in being Sar, that's telling us Osiris was born. That Osiris was not the provider. There's the provider of Osiris, and Osiris being the personified Sirius. Well, it kind of shifts which star exactly, but see, we have Sar again right there. Sharma, peace be upon you.